Welcome to the Relational Repair Podcast, where we explore what actually helps people come back into connection after rupture. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Hazel-Grace. Most relationships don't end because of conflict. They end because people were never taught how to repair. In this podcast, you'll hear real conversations about conflict, intimacy, accountability, and the messy human process of finding our way back to each other. Today, you'll hear how this pair navigated ruptures and found deeper connection on the other side. Let's drop in. Welcome to Perfectly Imperfect Love, a relational repair podcast. My name is Dr. Hazel-Grace, and I am so honored and delighted to introduce to you Rono and Sierra. And even though these two humans teach relationships to so many people in the world, today they are giving us the generous gift of peeking into their relationship and talking about how do we recover when we've made some sort of hurt, upset, mistake, rupture, and how to we get to the other side of it. So I know both of you because about 10-ish years ago, I came to your home to facilitate a workshop around sexual empowerment. And we've been keeping touch over the years, and I've actually been a guest in your organization in Eden World, and so I'm tickled that you're here, and I want to pass it over to you to introduce one another.
Thanks for having us. So good to be here with you.
Definitely.
All right. Well, one of the things that I'm continuously enamored by this man is his ability to just talk to anybody at any time. Like he always disagrees, but I'm literally like, we'll be walking down the street and I don't want to talk to anybody, but he'll knock on a door, he'll go find somebody and ask him a question in the store. I'm like, I'll find it myself, you know. And so if he wants to know something, he'll see like a property for sale, he'll just pick up the phone and call the place and find out. You just have this way of like interfacing with the world. He's not afraid to go into the world and people. And I'm always like, let them come to me. I don't know. I don't want to bother anybody or talk to anybody. So it makes me feel really enamored by you because it feels like, oh, thank God. I don't know if we'd get anywhere if it was just up to me. And I feel safe and supported and like, good. I can just send him out to talk to somebody.
If you send me out, then I'm.
No, that's true. No, but he'll even pick up the phone, like, what do they call telemarketers? He answers them and I'm like, who does that? Just to tell him to stop calling.
Uh-huh.
I'm glad
Beautiful.
we
I love
talked.
that. I love that the way that Rono shows up. I heard you say it has you feel safe and supported
Yeah.
and doing the thing you don't like doing.
Yeah, I was doing the thing I don't like
A
doing.
lot of those.
Exactly. A lot of those.
Yeah. And this is Sierra, and I'm continually enamored by you as well. Um, by your huge emotional wave that you have. You play all 88 keys of the keyboard, and you tend to play the melodies that bring me joy more than all the other keys, which sometimes, but I'm enamored by your range for one, and
Mhm.
also your commitment to coming back to love and care and kindness and what's the word? Goodness, I'll just say. And
Mhm.
that helps guide me to be a better person as well.
Aw.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, thank you so much for introducing one another. And the next question I have for you is what had you say yes to be willing to come in and share your real life with us?
Mm. Well, one of the things that our community loves the most about us that we hear often is that we show our vulnerabilities in relationship. We're rarely ever talking at. We're always talking with, and we're giving pretty much backstage access often to our relationship. So knowing how much that has impacted the community that we steward and the couples, it just makes sense. We love to share what it looks like to be in a relationship that's evolutionary and that takes effort and takes work. And so if we can support your listeners to understand that they are not alone, that everything's normal, really, at the end of the day, by
Mhm.
sharing the truth of our relationship and our journey that we've navigated, it is our greatest honor to do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What she
beautiful.
Mhm.
said.
What she said. Great. And
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about your relationship.
Well, we actually grew up in the same hometown. We've known each other for 47 or so years.
Wow.
I
And
know, since I was in diapers, literally.
yeah, she knew me in
Literally,
diapers.
literally.
She's a couple years older than me in school, just a year and a half in real life, but the way our birthdays were spread out. And yeah, we grew up same hometown. We even went to the same college. And
We were like weaving.
so we knew each other, but we became really good friends later in life. When I moved out to Los Angeles, where she was living, and became friends, and then started a business together. And that
Mhm.
was fun too. And we started in business together. And then a couple years into that, one fateful night, which is a story for another time, we became romantic. And we kept it a little secret for a while because we're like, well, we're not sure if this is, gonna work
Let's
out.
see, is this going to just one night or two night stand? Let's
Yes.
just, you know.
But we've been together ever since, and we've been
Mhm.
married for 15 years, going on 16.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Mhm.
that's the short little synopsis of our relationship.
And we're still business partners, although he is working on a whole other project now, but we still do share in the
Yeah,
same
we have multiple businesses.
business. So we've pretty much been business partners our entire relationship because we started in business together before we
Right.
became
We
an
don't know
item.
how not to be.
Yeah, we don't know how not to be. So, yeah, so we're very much co-creators, co-conspirators,
Consciously codependent.
consciously codependent. Totally.
Oh, I love that phrase. That's so good.
We are,
Consciously
yeah,
codependent with you.
yeah, we're like love spending time together and yeah, just we're good buddies.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So I imagine that there may have been a moment of those 40 years being in relationship and working together that there may have been at some point some sort of hurt or rupture that ha has happened.
And perfect the entire time.
All ease and flow.
All ease and flow. Yeah, so I guess when you think about moments of ruptures that were ultimately repaired in your relationship, what comes to mind?
Which one of the 37 do you want to talk about?
Well, I think I'll share the one that's sort of like pivotal to our entire story.
Mm.
Early on in our marriage, and I've been sharing this actually recently because we're stepping into the Eden Sanctuary. The theme is risk, and it was a risky move for Ronald to say this to me back in the day. But it was
Oh, that one.
that one, yeah, that's right. That one's like
That's a good one.
that one's
I thought
like
we were going
the
with a different, but I like that
oh
one.
no, this one's the one we've circled around pretty much our entire entire relationship. So it was probably maybe. I don't know, maybe a year into our marriage.
Yeah, so like 3, 4 years into our relationship.
Yep. And when we first got married, we ended up leaving our life in LA, which was pretty established, and moving back to upstate New York, but not the town that we grew up. So it was like starting anew in a lot of ways. And yeah, there was a lot happening. And he was still in a vocal rock band at the time. So he was traveling back to LA a bunch and really was kind of like living the rock star life, but then also married to me now in this like small town with no friends and no business. And, there's just this whole thing. And so, first year of marriage for anybody that's married, you might relate to this, but it's not necessarily a honeymoon. It's
Yeah.
not a great honeymoon because
Or maybe the first year was, and then after that it wasn't. But
yeah, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of sort of I don't know. You're integrating a lot together,
uh,
and you're
you're refining the bumps that are between you.
yeah. And
Mhm.
so at the time, we didn't know the five love languages that came out of this, and there was some ways in which I was being so because I was his boss actually for our first business together.
Yeah.
I was very much like.
Well, that was a combined one, but when I
Mhm.
started working for your magazine, then you were my boss.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I was his boss. So we had some power dynamics and some things that we were aware of, but not fully aware of. And as I was much more my masculine at the time, and he was actually more in his feminine, funny enough. And so I,
We were also young and dumb,
yeah,
so the nice combination.
I know. So there's a lot of setup for what happened. But so one day we were having some we had a lot of troubles in this first year of marriage for a lot of different reasons, given all that.
Mhm.
And one time,
And the first year in your marriage, that was y'all were 4 years into your romantic
Relationship. Yeah,
relationship.
more or less. Two and a half.
three, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I remember I was actually on a trip. In California. He was back in New York, and we had had a bit of a rupture. I don't remember even what we had argued about, but my emotional range got the better of best of me. And so I didn't realize that I had impacted him so I had hurt him so badly with the way that I had yelled and screamed about something or just lost my shit about something. And that had been stewing with him. And so when I went off to this trip, I called him to say goodnight or connect, and he was like, I need to share something with you. I'm like, what do you need to share with me? He's like, I just need to sleep with other women. And it was like, oh my God,
That's
right?
the short
That's the
short
very
version
short
of
version of
it.
it. But that was this like massive rupture. And at the time, I was like, do you mean like just like go off and sleep with some other woman? Do you mean like you want to just open up our marriage? Like it was not like clear. It was just,
Yeah, and we didn't have the tools that we have now. And at that point, like polyamory and the whole conversation of all of that wasn't even forefront in culture. And so we didn't even know about any of this.
I knew about it, but it wasn't
I
something
didn't.
that I had signed up for. I was not looking to have that in any relationship, any marriage that I was at the time. I mean, still, we have opened up and play.
We say we're monogamish, but
Monogamish. Yes, we have a monogamish
very
relationship,
monogamous.
but very exactly overall. So anyway, so of course I'm like, what does that mean? And I was like, and you want to just go sleep? He was, I want to stay with you, but I want to go sleep with other women.
I was just like, my needs aren't being met in this relationship,
But
and
he didn't actually say that, though.
right,
That's
but
what
that's
we
what was going
figured
on.
out.
Yeah, that's what was
Right,
going on.
right, right,
That's what was going on.
right.
So that, of course, sent me into tailspin. But
Well, it sort of sent you into a tailspin, but I
yeah,
also wanted to give you a little bit of credit because you said you were like, okay, that's not really what I signed up for. That's not
right,
really what I want. But if that's something that you need, I don't want to stop you
right.
from
That's
doing
true.
that. I don't know if when we get back together, if I'll still want to be with you. I'm not saying I don't, but so it was like it did give a permission to it. It wasn't a like, all right, yeah, go do it. But it's your choice. And okay. So like at least there was
Wow.
that.
Mhm.
So, Sierra, when you heard Rano say that, I can imagine in that moment there was fear, terror, confusion, hurt, like,
Mhm.
but yet you were still, there was a window of openness, curiosity, like if that's what you need to do, somehow you were still able to be in a
I don't know if it
curious
was openness
state.
or curiosity, but
Well, I think this is the key for that. Like at the end of the day,
Okay.
because we had such a long-standing friendship before we got into relationship, I was able to pull wife role out for a moment and go, okay, this is my buddy. I don't like what he's saying. I don't necessarily want what he's claiming he wants, but if that's what he needs as his
Mm,
buddy, I'm like, okay, because he was adamant about it. And I was like, what am I going to say? Like, I mean, it was just, yeah, I think in that moment, I was able to step out of that role and into
mm,
more of a friendship role and
mm,
then say that and then sort of then have my own experience around that and my
mm,
clarity
and
of,
she was off with women, so she was able to be
yeah,
held in
thank
that
God I was at a
relationship.
women's event. Yeah, I was held in a very beautiful space. Yeah, it was and I got to, and in that, because we didn't really talk much during that weekend, but I was, working through my process, and I came to my own conclusion that I really was not holding him well as a wife or a partner,
As a beloved.
as a beloved. Like there was ways that I had been able to reflect on my own behavior, including the rupture before this rupture that we had had a couple days prior. And I came to the understanding, I was like, oh, he needs more love from me that I just have not been giving him. So it would make sense why he would say this. And later, what this ended up being was the most pivotal point in our relationship because one, how brave of him to just say it. It was clumsy, it was
Versus doing
messy
it. Yeah.
versus doing it.
oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. He could have, just most people sweep this under the carpet. They just
She's gone. I'll just do it this weekend. She won't even
she won't
know.
even
That's what
know.
a lot of people do.
Exactly. So he was brave enough to share it with me and be honest with me. And I didn't know what I was going to come back to. He actually, funny enough, did have an opportunity to sleep with somebody.
So
Okay.
what I'm hearing is that even though Rono had an opportunity to engage or to be sexual with someone, Rono chose to not.
Yeah. And it was very hard not to. It was very, because it was like, here's this beautiful woman who's like very available and giving me all this attention that I wasn't getting in our relationship.
Mhm.
Mm,
And I guess I have some good in me somewhere down in there that I was able to be like, like this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to engage further in this. That feels
hmm
manipulative. It feels like a trap.
hmm
And ultimately that's what we have found out. It really was like there was a lot of um growth that that woman needed to do in her own life and how she interacted with the world that
Mhm.
was not supportive, and we watched it happen with a lot of other people, and
Mhm.
so it was like, oh, okay, cool. So it was, I saved myself and our marriage and just the whole situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that it was that kind of that kind of dynamic, because if it was something that was clean and pure, and like I may not have been as strong. I don't
Mhm.
know. So I'm grateful for my ability to smell stinkiness, in situations. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I'm curious for you, Sierra, what had you be able to notice that you were not showing up in your beloved ship and you weren't being as loving as you wanted to be as a partner?
I remember when we first got married, we had a guru that he was working with that signed our marriage certificate. And somewhere along the way, he had said to me, this guru guy had said to me that he might seem strong and he's not fragile, but there's a way that he needs to be held. I don't remember the exact words, but he shared something about be prepared to really support him in certain ways. And I think that I heard those words that weekend and I recognize how much I was expecting him to hold me because, again, my emotional wave was much bigger. I came from a family that was highly dramatic. Drama was just the norm, and
Mm,
yelling and screaming, Italian, Irish, it just was not an issue. It just was like what we did. And I didn't
mm,
realize how much that was hurting him and how much me not holding myself or having myself was hurting him. And then
mm,
on top of
mm,
that, recognizing that he has needs that he's not always speaking about or bringing forth because he's such a giver to others. He's very much the first one to give you his shirt off his back, practically. And so I realized
If it's warm outside.
if sometimes I don't know. He's very generous with his time and his energy
I'll
with
give you my
people.
extra shirt, but I'll typically keep it on my back. But
I don't know.
I hear you
Anyway,
though, but
you've offered our bed to people before.
that's different. That can make another bed.
Oh, okay. Well, like, either way,
If
he
it's
gives a
really
lot.
gonna make us not have it, then I won't. But I do give a
Huh?
lot.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
We're working something out
Yeah,
here,
look at
and
this in real time.
it's like
Okay.
another piece that like we've had challenges around of me give her feeling like I'm giving something away that she may need or want, or
Right.
like,
Without
and
checking
without
with me.
checking with her. and
mm,
and for me, I'm like, I would never give from, I only give from our excess, not from our, at least
mm.
physically. We've learned that we do also give a little bit too much from our cellular parts, and then we're working
Well,
Uh,
on
we're,
as a
we're givers,
relationship.
we're of service. So
Yeah,
anyway.
well, I want to tag that and possibly go back to that, but I want to keep going on the thread of then you were realizing you weren't being as loving as you could, and then this you remembered from the guru that he needs to be held in a particular way,
Yeah. And
and
then actually some magic happened. There was a shaman that I ended up meeting at this event and working with late afterwards. And there was something about there was this somebody was had a picture of a little baby owl in the hands, and it was like I think there was like a silent auction they were doing at this event. And
And it
there
was
was
some other shaman's hands that it was in. I remember the story.
yeah, there was something shamanic about the experience. There was a ritual, there was a thing, there was a lot of things that happened. And then I saw that picture, and his totem spirit is an owl. And I
Mm,
saw this little baby owl in these hands, and I thought, oh my God, that represents me holding him, his spirit. And so I bid on that and I won that thing and I brought it home to him and I was like, I see you and I want to take care of you in a new way. Like take care of your spirit, take care of your, whatever, like just you and us in a new
mm,
way. So something cracked open. It was probably part higher power and part just
Two by four.
yeah, two by four, a little bit of everything. But then, it's not that that went away. What we realized was that there was a lot that he required that he wasn't speaking of and didn't know how to ask for what he needed. And then we
mm,
found out about the love languages quiz, and his number one love language is physical touch. And my number one love language is acts of service. So I always, you think even until you give kind of the thing that you are, right?
totally.
Right. And so when I was his boss, he would like, I'd be going to the bathroom or I'd be going to the email and he'd be like, want to like grab me and hug me. And I'd be like, please don't. Cause I'd be just in a totally different mindset. And I didn't realize how much we joke now that Rono runs on rubs. Like if like he is rub fueled, touch fueled,
Yeah.
like big time. And so, and yeah, I've had to
And
really,
hugs.
and hugs. Yeah. So that was like an opening to seeing where that makes him feel loved and where there was a real deficit from me in that way, giving to him and giving to us. I just had to reorient myself a bit.
Yeah. So y'all didn't have the language. Rano, you weren't clear about what it is that you were needing. And so in that moment when you're like, I'm not getting my needs met, I want to, have sex with other people. What I'm hearing is what you were missing was that affection and that touch. And at that time, you weren't able to articulate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also like the misunderstanding of I think a lot of times men in particular, it's not necessarily this way, but we tend to think of intimacy as physical intimacy more than emotional intimacy, and women typically tend to think of emotional intimacy first as their languages of understanding and how they want things. Because if Sierra feels emotionally connected to me and emotionally
Mhm.
cared for, she's more available for physical intimacy. If I feel physical intimacy, then I'm more available for emotional intimacy. And that's just typically how we're wired. It's not,
Mhm.
again, it's not that way across the board, but that was me saying, I'm not getting intimacy, so let me sleep with other women because then I'll at least get somebody that's giving me the love and affection that I need. And then I'll be filled up and then I'll have all this for you and I can hold your
Mhm.
emotional wave. I can do all this stuff with you, but I'm not getting it here and I need it. I'm dying here in the relationship.
Mhm.
So let me just get it over here. It was actually noble in a way, like in some ways, because I was still committed to us,
Mhm.
but I just
Mhm.
wasn't getting it and I didn't have the vocabulary at the time.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I get the concept of intention versus impact. And
Yeah.
so what I'm hearing, Rano, some part of your desire expressing I want to sleep with other people, underneath there was some intention for being able to show up more fully for Sierra, right? Of
yeah.
like, this is the way that I can be a better partner. And of course, that was underlying your intention. And of course, the impact was really,
What the fuck?
yeah, like that. Yeah. Um, yeah, so what were I mean, you've named them already, but what are you feeling in this circumstance? What were the pieces that eventually had you rebuild and come back into connection? It sounds like the five love languages was really helpful. What else was helpful to come back into repair around that?
One of the biggest things that helped us was other couples supporting us. We had at the time were in business with another, they were both coaches. They held us. We had some dear friends that held us
Mm,
through this. And really, it was community that helped us. We couldn't just do it on our own. We didn't go get coaching or therapy necessarily, but we did have some really wise couples around,
Coaches and therapists
which
around
I guess around
us.
us
So
that
in a
that
way.
helped us see um, me softening. It was something that I realized that okay, I have to. Again, I mentioned holding myself so I
mm,
could do filling my cup so that I had more to give to him because
mm,
I often one of my biggest patterns, I guess I'm technically a workaholic in that way. I will run myself ragged for the passion and the other people that I want to serve in the world. And then I often don't have enough for myself, let alone for him or us. And that's been
Mm,
something that I've had to learn to regulate.
It's still something you're working on.
Still learning how to regulate that better. But that was, I think, the beginning of that awareness for myself that
mm,
yeah, that there's ways that I need to be able to, yeah, find the
mm.
space to give to myself so I have more to give to us and him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just reminds me of the question I asked, why did you say yes to this? And you're like, because you're the way that you operate is by sharing your story, and it actually helps other people normalize and learn by way of authentic relationships. And it sounds like that's how you were showing up with community and not doing it in silo and not talking about it. Y'all were getting support, sharing, being seen, being witnessed. And is that how Eden World got developed?
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
Aha. Okay. Well, that makes
Hmm.
all the sense. Yeah.
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 Just and then when
Hmm.
other couples that we knew and we formed like specific cohorts of couples together for a period of time supporting each other on our relationships, we just that's what ultimately birthed Eden World because it was just like, oh wow, this is better than coaching, better than therapy. Those are still great and they're still necessary at times, but ongoingly on the court of relationship, like to be with other couples that are committed to each other and committed to having a great relationship, there's nothing that it's fun, it's enjoyable, you gain friendships, you have community. It like ticks so many
Mm.
boxes.
And
Mm.
some of the things that like we can translate for each other too. So I could, well, one, we see a lot of our same patterns in other couples because there's, just
There's only
there's so many
150,000
patterns, right? The
so
patterns are the patterns. And so that helps just reflect and be able to see it reflected. Be like, oh, is that what that looks like? Oh, maybe I'll shift that. But then also there's certain times where he'd be saying something to me and I couldn't hear it, but then another person could say it or another man could say it and I could then hear it. And same with them, their partner could then hear it. And so it's like this.
a lot of times in the couples councils that we call them, they'll be like, "That's what I've been saying." You hear that a lot, and
That's
we have a rule that you can't say that.
that's what I've been saying. I go, they're saying
Yep.
that, see? And you're like, well, I
Yep.
just hear it from him.
Oh, now I get it. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I see that a lot too. It often makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
chuckler.
Yeah.
Okay, well that I get why that's a pivotal story and kind of
Mhm.
like the origin story of some of the big work you do in the world. And
Mhm.
switching over, do you want to follow that thread that you mentioned earlier, Rano, about your generosity getting in the way, or is there
Um,
something else that's bubbling up?
Potentially, I think what's important just to add on to this rupture that created so much, it
Hmm.
also helped us recognize, and there was a lot of other things that we did as well that I don't think we need to go into here that got us reconnected and sparked things up, and then
Mhm.
made even more things aware of what we had to work on and look at, in so many different
Domino
ways.
effect, exactly. It was the gift that kept on giving.
but but we're able to reference it too. And so the reason why I say I want to sleep with other women is because that's exactly what I said, and that's exactly how we reference it.
Hmm.
And so what we then found out is anytime I come back to I want to sleep with other women in the relationship,
Hmm.
because it wasn't just done
Yeah,
there.
there's not a one and
It
done.
has come back because the pattern didn't get shifted. It just got salve on it for a while, but then the wound came back up. And so
That
Hmm.
then
pattern of me getting lost in the woes of the world or my business.
relationship not priority.
Yeah, relationship. Exactly. That's really at the end of the day. Relationship not being the priority. Others, too many other things being the priority, and then him getting the scraps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden I'd be like, I want to sleep with other women. Oh, here it is again. And so we finally, so this pattern in rupture has come back multiple times in our 15-year marriage. Um, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, it came back up and we then started recognizing, oh, when you're feeling that, you can say it, and that means that we've been doing this. So how do we come back into now it's not like, oh, I want to sleep with other women. It's like, hey, I'm feeling the urge again
Yeah,
to sleep with other women,
grown in
which
language.
means that,
Or I'm noticing I'm starting to look outside for
yeah,
something
I
that I
started
haven't been able to
looking,
ask for here.
right. And so it's
Yes.
been very powerful in that regard to keep working it. And so
Right.
5 years ago, 10 years in, we had a conversation with another couple friend of ours that we were in counsel with. And they helped us see and realize that we were like, oh my God, the reason this whole thing even started
Mhm.
was because before we got together, when we were just friends, I saw this sprite, like even though we were friends, like,
A single woman living her best life. Let's just put it that
yes,
way.
a single
Uh-huh.
woman living her best life.
Fan community.
Yeah. And she was very free and very
I
open
was like, good.
in ways that most men would be like, fuck yeah, give me some of that.
Mhm.
Like, and so I was like, give me some of that. I want that. And when the night that we actually fell in love with each other after we were together, we had our first intimate moment around Thanksgiving time, and then this was New Year's, so just 3 years, so 2 months later,
Mhm.
and
Month and a half, really.
yeah, a month and a half, not very far. And we had a miss around our intimacy where she went off and was her single self, and I wanted to join her in that single selfness, but me as my single self, I was like, that's going down. That's not going to be good. She's going to not
You
like
know, there's
that.
friends with benefits in my friendship circle.
Yeah.
That's-
And I was like, I'd be into that friends and benefits thing going on here. But one, I didn't have the language. Two, I didn't want to fuck it up. And
Three, we didn't know how to set a container at the time.
we didn't know how to
We didn't
navigate all that
even
stuff.
recognize the
So we had
importance.
a rupture that night.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
And she made the agreement that she should not be free and wild and fun in order to be in this relationship with me. And
Wait, say that again. Sierra made the agreement.
unbeknownst to no one knew
Silent
this,
agreement inside myself.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that in order to be in
The thing
relationship
that
with,
happened, the thing that ruptured that night had me make a belief that was in order to be in a relationship with him, I have to shut off that part of my
like,
freedom and my
dim
self-expression.
herself down, which was the whole reason I was getting with her, the whole reason I wanted to marry her, the whole reason I wanted to be together with her was that fun part of her. Like that was the thing that I was after,
Mhm.
that I was looking for.
Whoa.
And
Uh-huh.
so when we got to this rupture a few years in, that was because it was like, I
Where's
signed
that
up for that
girl?
girl and she doesn't exist. All I'm getting is like, you suck and like, go work for me. Like, and so I was like, that's not what I was signing up for. But it took us 10 years later
Mhm.
of, I
Whoa.
want to sleep with other women. Bro, what the hell? Blah, 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 back and forth, to recognize that we both made an agreement that night of we should dim our lights. We should dim our expression. We should dim who we are in order to be with one
Make
another
the other person
because we
feel
care
okay.
about each other that much that we want to dim ourselves. And I think that happens so much in all sorts of relationships, but especially the romantic ones that we continue on for years.
Mhm.
And so for the past 5 years, we've been unraveling that even more and recognizing how much suffering that we have been in,
Uh-huh.
even though it's been glorious and amazing
Yeah,
too.
right.
But
Sure.
We call it the
wow,
primordial
the
miss,
primordial
right? It's
miss, the
that
primordial sin of our relationship
yeah, it's like the thing that was our relationship was built on an untruth that
on
we
a
had on a
lie.
lie that we had both made up separately about each other and about the relationship.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it took friendship and everything to help us go all the way back and find that. And it was like, whoa, it was a very deep. And we're still working it out. We're still working it out.
Yeah.
And we're like, how do we get back to, and now we've got, menopause and andropause, and that's the men's menopause, and all the things that happen as we're aging. And
Mhm.
so like, how do we get back to like sparkly and woohoo now that we're, in our
And
50s?
patterns of a 15-year marriage, you know?
Yeah. So I
Mm.
felt that was just important because it's just because a rupture, if a rupture happens, which again to me is a little bit bigger than just a fight, but even a fight, like it's a sign that there's something underneath, 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 underneath
Mhm.
that's a value that's getting violated, or something that you're not speaking up for, or something that you're missing. And if you actually can let go of our egos or ourselves that are so needing to have something and find what's underneath it, even if
Mhm.
it's 10 years later, like
Mhm.
there's so much there. So I just felt that was an
Yeah.
important piece to this.
Yeah, super important. Um, I've never used this phrase, but it just came to me, which is you created a relational cue. And what I mean by that is when Rono, you felt that looking out the window, you felt that urge of like, I want to go sleep with somebody else. That was like a cue to point to the pattern that wasn't being tended to. So it, and connected to that, I'm just celebrating and amazed by this primordial, rupture sin thing that happened at the beginning of your relationship was in like interrelated. Y'all, it was co-created. Like you both
Oh
had
yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're all always co-created, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
that's
Um
Yeah.
another class for another time.
that yeah. And I mention that because when I think about repair, I almost all the time, both of us are participating in the thing that creates the disconnection. But in this case, y'all gave such a clear example from both of you participating in the way that you did to create that pattern that you're experiencing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scooch together more hair.
Okay. Yeah. So anything else that feels alive? You know, if you knew what you know now, and you were to imagine going in a time machine and going back to that moment in that
Gee,
conversation, what would
Mm,
either one of you have said?
it's a great question.
I don't think I would have said anything. I would have just jumped in with you.
Jumped
I would have said something with my mouth on
into
the
the
back of her neck.
and jumped into the snug pile. Yeah, yeah, maybe that would have been it. I would have gone back and set the container of like, okay, what are our parameters here? We're going to go to this party. Most people are going to be on medicine. This is a Burning Man crowd. I might want to have some, kiss time with this friend and that. I would have set what is okay with us. What are we signing up for?
Mm,
Yeah, that would have changed everything. Had we just had that agreement conversation in advance, where are we at? What does this mean? What's what are we up for? What are we both up for?
mhm,
Yeah, I would agree with
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've ultimately been trying to get back to that party, like our whole relationship, like legit.
Well, I mean, I am curious, because as I'm listening to y'all, I heard you also say we're monogamish. So I'm curious
Mhm.
what has happened to allow you to have those however many times where there was some openness or playing with other people. And what's that process been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been beautiful. It's been challenging. It's like I I don't fully know yet, but I'm holding the pole or the awareness that like I am someone that if she's in pleasure, regardless of who's giving it to her, like that's exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just like her pleasure. I like her lit up. And
Compersion.
yeah,
Hmm.
compersion.
Hmm.
Or some of our friends say chili con carne, which is not the same thing, but that's what we call
It's
compersion.
their
It's a
nickname.
joke. We're like, oh, some chili con carne, huh? He's also from Mexico City, so that it makes it more fun. But anyways,
Coco
um, yeah, it
conversion.
definitely the compersion for me.
Hmm.
That's a big part of it, and to an extent, again, we're not talking like massive craziness. We're just talking, like some makeouts or things like that
Hmm.
with other people.
Hmm.
Um,
I would say that mostly it's been because he has wanted to reignite that part of myself. That part of myself shut down. Because of what happened when I literally, so what happened was I jumped into a pool of my friends and I think I made out with my girlfriend or something and he didn't know what to do and he just went off. And then when I went to find him and I went to kiss him, he didn't like the way I smelled at that point because I had been making out with my friends. And so I made up a story that I was a shameful moment. Like I felt shamed by him. That's
Yeah.
and so now, so that shut me down. And then also, I didn't feel like I could have that life with him because we didn't set those agreements. So I was like, okay, that's no longer, and we're just and again, I didn't want a polyamorous relationship or an open relationship. I was fine
Mhm.
with playful monogamish relationship back then, but then that got shut down. So for me, him,
And it
he
kept getting more sealed and more
yeah,
sealed
more
and more
sealed and more
sealed every
sealed,
year.
exactly. And for him, he's a projector, and he often sees the bigger picture, and he often calls me out when I for not being true to myself. And I don't necessarily know I'm not being true to myself, but where I'm not being true to myself is when I'm made up some agreement based on something or made up a belief system based on an experience and then locked in that story. And so oftentimes any sort of play with others was
The owl,
prompted,
the owl can see in the dark. That's why it's part of
right, the owl, exactly.
totem, like, and it can see a lot in the night. And
Mhm.
so when it's like not, hence that girl that I didn't have that experience with because I was like, something's off here.
Yeah, so often the prompting would come from him in this pattern of, oh, I'm not getting what I need here. Maybe I should go get it outside. And then he would push for that. And then that would lock me down even further because of whatever I would believe about what that meant.
Abandonment or what is
Yeah,
that?
also brought up, yeah, where I had abandonment and everything else. We hadn't really dealt with some of this stuff. I hadn't really dealt with some of that stuff. And so, or he would see that it would be something that he could feel that I would want, but and he would push for it on behalf of me, but I wasn't there yet myself. And eventually, through many, misses and bumps and ruptures and raptures and fixes and all the things, you know, I realized I wasn't also claiming my desires. My desires had been really shut down. And
Mm.
so at one point, I recognized, oh, he was kind of poking
They weren't
subconsciously.
even mine. I've realized like these aren't even actually my desires. They're more your desires.
So,
Which is like, oh, and then she talked to some
Whoa.
girlfriends and some girlfriends shared some stories and she was like, oh, I'm all juiced up from that. And it's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
See?
like I had like literally closed the book on so much and become something completely different in a way. And yet they're still there energetically bottled up inside me. And
Uh,
it was like he was trying to crack at it, but it was always coming from a place of what I felt like it might not have been the truth of the situation, but I always felt like, what does he want? Where does he need the pleasure? And it was like, and so I was always trying to give more to him and give more to him and give more to him. And I'm like,
Which would always be a disaster.
yeah, not because of what I necessarily want. Yes, I wanted to meet him and love him and nurture him and hold him and all the things that I recognize in that very first, conversation with the owls in the hands. But I didn't realize that I was also not at all connected to what my desires were. And I was so tired of years and years and years of trying to meet him and his desire that finally some girlfriends, some conversations, some things was like, oh, wait, I, what if I were to just figure out what I actually want? And then
mhm.
I was like, oh, I want that. And then I shared with him, I want that. And he was like, okay, let's go get
Great, let's
that.
go get
Let's
that.
go get that.
And
So,
and what is that?
I don't know.
You don't want to share?
I don't know. What was it?
What was
Come
it?
on. It was that.
Okay, it was that. Got it.
Yeah, it
Something
was,
something beyond the two of you and
yeah,
all
Correct.
of us
something,
Another
connected.
entity.
yeah, another entity, exactly. What would turn me on in this desire of out to, because every time we would actually open up a little bit and have like go to a play party or go to something sexy or do something crazy at Burning
And we
Man.
would, by the
Not
way, we
crazy,
just like
but
sit at play parties. We're like not
I know
participating. We're the worst play
just
party people. We're
exposed.
great because we look awesome, but
Yeah, I know. Just I know.
we dress up well. We play the part well.
We're better. Yeah, we're better at hosting parties and helping others with their desires, which maybe full circle back to the giving of others. Anyways, point being, I wanted to like I recognize, oh, what would make this sexy and fun and alive for me? And it was like, okay, it's not this, it's not it is these things okay, but it's really I want this type of an experience with somebody else. Are you up for it? Because that lights me up. And that I think would be a gateway to more experiences versus me just trying to fit myself into his desires, which was not
Mhm.
going well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
not at
Not
all.
going well.
Yeah, so you, Sierra, were really wanting to support Rano and what you understood his desires to be, but by
Yeah.
doing that, you were kind of like contorting yourself and like putting all of your
Pretzeling, yep.
attention over there when
Yeah.
you were like actually ignoring, you're not tuning into what is actually your desires. And it turns out you being in your sprite and your like your turn on is in fact what it is that Rano was desiring.
Yes.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
But if the well's dry and we're thirsty, like
And so it sounds like from what you've shared, there have been moments where Sierra, you've gotten to explore that.
Hmm.
And Rano, have you also gotten to explore outside of
through through her lens, yes. And we're still working on the dynamics of um because again, if we can speak about it from this perspective. Because another thing that she's had to learn is that my container of holding is a big prairie with it's all fenced in. The animals can rove free. It's great. It's awesome. Like a safari. Like if you ever have gone on a safari, like those are actually fenced in gigantic areas where these animals are. Like so big. You're like, oh my God, it's
Yeah,
like
they don't
a
let
small
lions roam
state.
free in Africa
I
anymore.
mean, I'm sure there are, but in
Maybe, yeah.
safaris, they have these
Hmm.
particular, they have their reserves. And my container is a reserve. And so, like, I'm open to a lot of things. And I have no problem if I need to quarantine even further for my needs, then I can do that. But what we
I'm the
figured out
opposite.
is that
I need it to be a doghouse,
she needs it to be like a little puppy park.
puppy park, I do like a little
Oh,
dog
that's probably
park.
still too big. The
But
dog park's too big.
to start really small and feel really
The
contained.
gate into the dog park.
Yeah.
That's
In
small.
order for me to then feel more free to want to then roam bigger. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean that makes sense. It's scaffolding safety.
yeah.
Scaffolding safety.
Yeah.
But what we realize is that it's not my responsibility to scaffold her safety because the container that I'm holding is safe. Like she's not going to be hurt in that container. It's just too much for her
Yeah. It's
to handle
too many
for her nervous system.
land.
So she needs to actually
The
speak
animals.
up to what her nervous system needs. And then I'm happy to meet her in that, but it's not my responsibility to bring everything down small so that I don't feel like I'm like I like the big wide open. Like
Mhm.
that's cool for me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
not
He's better at stating what he doesn't want when he doesn't want it. He's
I'm
he
like nope.
he's yeah, he's good at his no. He's not necessarily great at sharing what he
I'm not
wants.
good at like I'd like that.
He's more
I
at
just
like
know
what
where
he
my
knows,
no
what he
is.
doesn't. And I've had trouble saying no, just saying no. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
I
I'm
would
always like, okay, can we just make it really small? Because otherwise I have a
I might do
tendency.
something she doesn't want.
He might do, or I
No, you
might,
might no,
I might,
you
yeah,
might
I
do
might do
something.
something that I don't want. Like I had to learn consent is ongoing. I thought at one point, if you
Mhm.
give consent once, that means that
You can't say
that you
no
can't
all the
say
way through the
no.
end.
Yeah. Like in my early sexual experiences, I felt very, pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And it was just always like my no didn't really mean much. I was never like raped or anything like that, but it just felt like it didn't mean much. There was always a little bit of a further push. And so I ever felt super empowered in my no. I thought, oh no, I said yes, and now that's what we're doing, and now that means that I have to do all of this or whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And for me, I'd rather you find where my no is. Like, let's
That's the
find
big
out. Let's
that's
find
the
out where
big
my no
Yeah.
is.
prairie
Yeah.
that you're
Let's go
naming.
out
Yes.
there and oh, there's my no. But versus like, here's my nose. Don't go here, don't go here, don't go there, don't go here, don't go here. And to me, it's like, ugh. Because then it's like, okay, wait, what are the rules? Okay, forget about it. Let's just watch Netflix. So that's like, because if there's all these rules, then it's like, what are we doing? But
Uh-huh.
I also understand
But
for
yeah.
this that my beloved, who we're in a co-creative relationship here, and I want her to feel supported and loved and cared for and everything. So it's like, so we haven't quite, we're just on the beginning stages, and we're so busy in our lives that this is like if it was like, all right, next weekend, let's try again, that'd be great. But it's like, all right, next 3 years from now, let's try again. So it's a very slow process, and the amount of people that we've been with outside of our relationship is can be counted on a hand, you know. So it's not like this, like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, like next weekend, let's go again to the club and see who we can.
Yeah. And I'll say this, what we have found out, regardless of whatever we've done or haven't done, is that we always want it to be in service to our relationship. It's not
Period.
Mm,
period,
Yeah.
right? So if it's not in
yeah.
service to our relationship because
Always
somebody's,
bringing it back.
yes, and how do we bring it back? And how does it become something that elevates us versus, puts us in rupture? And you
Mhm.
can't avoid rupture when you don't realize that your nervous system's going to have that reaction to this or that understanding, or oops, I didn't set my boundary tight enough and he was too wide, and whatever happens. And those can be minor things, not even just a, it could be even I could be in a weird mood that day. I don't know,
I
but
was snugging with a girl, like just having a conversation too long, and that could be a rupture, you know? Like
just depending,
it
right, on
depends.
what was said or not said or whatever, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a constant growth point, but we do it because people say, why do you even bother? I'm like, well, because I want to, when it goes well, it feels
We're juiced up
we're
for
juiced up
months.
for months. Like it really does serve us well and give us new ways of understanding and relating to each other, and new practices to do with each other, and new ways to pleasure each other, and new understandings of each other, and deeper intimacy. So
All that good
Hmm.
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I wonder because as y'all know, I've polyamorous and I've been
Hmm.
for 20 plus years, and I really love the value that you named, which was if we are going to be engaging with someone outside of us, that it is in service to enhancing and adding, it being an additive to our relationship.
Yeah.
Um, and you said the question like why bother?
Hmm.
And I heard the part like it's really fun and magical when it happens, but I think the
Hmm.
other lens that I'm curious if this feels true for you is in the attention and time it takes to get to those places where it is a yes, an aligned yes for both of you.
Hmm.
I'm imagining it helps you unearth the patterns beneath that are actually like not totally like it's helping you see what's in the way of having an even more connection. So it almost feels like the effort
Yeah.
and labor to get to those places where you connect with others is kind of like like tending or
It's the
short.
journey, not the destination.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like there's certain places I didn't even realize that I might have been holding something as trauma. I just had a story, but then all of a sudden it shows up in reaction, my nervous system reaction to something that we're consciously going into with a good container. And then I recognize, oh, there's some healing I need to do around that from my
yeah,
past, right? Or that in relationship to how I'm projecting it into this dynamic, which the truth of this dynamic is not that story, you know?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it reminds me of what you said at the beginning about your relationship being 15 years and it being an evolutionary journey, meaning the way I hear that is like y'all are both
Mhm.
committed to your deep personal transformative work, but also your relational work. And so to me, it just points to like by choosing to engage with the possibility of opening a relationship, it's in alignment with the value that you hold of your evolutionary journey. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, Cool. So we're gonna land the plane here soon, and I wanna the question I have for you is w the concept of kintsugi, which is a Japanese art form that
Mhm.
when ceramic breaks and you put it back together and you put it with gold lacquer and it's more beautiful than it was before. And when you think about all these challenges and ruptures that y'all have just shared, what's been the gold? What's been,
Mm.
and especially for couples out there who are in the mud, they're in the thick of it. Like for you, what's the gold for you that having gone through these big ruptures?
Mhm. I would say one of the biggest pieces of gold is our willingness to um, make our relationship a priority. So when things get crunky, crunchy, crappy, murky, muddy, it means that we're not prioritizing each other. And so we have made a practice of something that we call our epic. Epic, we call it an epic, and it stands for erotic, playful, intimate, and creative. And it's our sacred space of dedicated time with just each other. We shut out the world. We don't go out in the world. We set the vibe.
Different than a date night.
Different than a date night. It's an epic, and it gives us a place to press edges within each other, both again erotically, playfully, intimately, creatively, and discover new things about each other. And I don't think I would have been as willing to go into these deep explorations that this container provides within each other if we hadn't kept bumping up against these ruptures. It really woken me up to there's more available. There's more, always more to be explored. There's always more to know. And it put me in a more curious space and mostly kept me out of the things that companies, we do this, we do that, that's what happens at, especially in our sex, it's like, wait, no, there's a million and beyond to be able to explore
With each other.
with each other. And I wouldn't have been so curious or so open to that. It forced us into this practice, and that practice has been our cornerstone of everything. It's how we've developed new businesses. It's how we develop even programs within our business. It's how we manifest big things in the world. Like, it's been a beautiful focus, and has helped us see that our relationship truly is the number one fuel source for everything that we create. And when we give it that attention, that intentional intention with play and those four quadrants, we create magic. It's everything. Life just works much better.
Mm,
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sierra.
Would you add?
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with that as well. Can you tell me the question, just one more?
Gold.
The
Yeah,
gold,
what's
the
the
gold,
gold
right?
in these
Yeah.
ruptures? Because ruptures suck.
Yeah.
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 I think
Yeah.
I feel like in today's world, especially in the Western culture, that it's quick fix, it's scroll fast, it's this isn't working for me, I'm out. And the the depth and care that has been established for her and I, and how much we're lock in step in so much of our lives without even thinking about it. And ultimately, when we're like pissy or blah or whatever, it has very little to do with each other these days. It has more to do with just what
Being
we're
under-resourced
what we're
in the
we're
moment.
doing.
Mm.
And there's a real beauty and maturity that I don't think we had before. And it's a real delight to be in relationship with this other human being, regardless of things being perfect or not. There's something that's deeper, that's underneath, that just comes from hard fought wins, you know.
Hard fought wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And then your
character.
life works beautifully and
Yeah.
magically.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
And deeper trust. Like, we've now built so
Mhm.
much more trust because we have come through. It's like, even if something major does rupture again, we know we've been there and fixed it and was able to repair, and we're better for it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of trust credits built up over
yes.
time.
Yep. In
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bank of currency and trust.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, this has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much for your generosity. And I know that our listeners are going to really appreciate your authenticity, transparency, and letting us in your personal relationship. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for holding us.
Yeah.
Bringing
Welcome.
this conversation to the world of couples.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on the Relational Repair Podcast. A heartfelt thank you to our guests for their honesty, vulnerability, and courage. Conversations like this remind me that most people aren't trying to hurt each other. We're simply navigating relationships with the tools, wounds, and wisdom we've gathered along the way. If you'd like more honest conversations about conflict, intimacy, and connection, be sure to follow the Relational Repair Podcast. And if you'd like to learn more about the art of repair, you can visit drhazelgrace.com. Until next time, remember to repair with care.